Good morning, everyone. Let's just give another hand for our minister and our board chair. They're going to have to leave us right now, but we are eternally grateful for their talk this morning. Minister, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much.
So good morning. Again, standing on the established protocol, it is a pleasure to welcome you all as we gather once again to embark a new academic year. This year, we celebrate the 50th anniversary of University of the Bahamas. We stand at a significant crossroads, reflecting our rich history while boldly charting our course for the future. Our value proposition of preparing students for a better life in a global society remains our guiding light as we continue to advance this institution. I extend a particularly warm welcome to our staff members who are joining us here for the first time in such a very, very long time. It is so good to have you. Your presence marks an important step towards deeper collaboration across all sectors of this university, reinforcing our shared commitment to excellence. As we enter this academic year, and under the theme of this program, UB at the Crossroads of Accreditation, continuous improvement to attain global recognition and on an international stage, we are reminded of our journey towards global recognition is driven by a collective effort. At the core of this journey, our strategic goals of academic affairs will serve as our roadmap. Firstly, enhancing academic excellence will elevate the quality and relevance of our academic programs as they remain a top priority. Through curriculum modernization, innovative teaching methods, and the pursuit of accreditation, we will ensure that our programs continue to meet the highest standards. Student support services and success. We are committed to creating a supportive learning environment that fosters both academic achievement and personal growth. By expanding our student support services and incorporating experiential learning opportunities, we aim to equip our students with the skills they need to succeed in an increasingly complex world. We're going to foster research and innovation. Our goal is to strengthen our research capacities by encouraging interdisciplinary collaboration, securing increased funding for research, and leveraging our specialized research centers. These efforts will position us at the forefront of addressing key societal challenges. We look more into expanding internationalization and global engagement. We are focused on broadening UB's global presence through international partnerships, study abroad opportunities, and the recruitment of diverse faculty and students. These initiatives will enrich our academic community and prepare our students to excel in the world around us. We shall enhance community engagement and our economic impact by deepening our ties with the community and expanding our contribution to national development. We will continue to play a pivotal role in addressing local needs and driving economic growth. We shall develop our institutional talent and our leadership. We will invest in leadership development and optimize our organizational structure are critical to ensuring that we attract and retain the best talent, thereby positioning the university as a resilient and forward-thinking institution. And then finally, on our strategic goals, we're going to upgrade technology and infrastructure. We are committed to providing a modern learning and research environment through continued investments in technology and facilities, including the enhancement of our laboratory spaces and the development of a smart campus. These strategic goals are not just aspirations. They are actionable steps that will guide our work as we strive to achieve accreditation and gain global recognition. I am delighted that this year we are welcoming a new Dean of Faculty at UB North, 2 new chairs, a new executive director, a program liaison officer, and more than 20 new faculty members to our UB Mingo community. These individuals bring a wealth of knowledge and expertise, and I look forward to introducing them even more formally at the General Faculty Meeting 2 weeks from today. In fact, there is so much that I want to share with you, and so much that I could say, but I do not have the time to say. But there is one thing that I want to make sure that I say today, is that in fall of 2026, the Wilson Prize will be awarding some $50,000 to some person or persons for their scholarly 2 awards. Two persons, $50,000 to share for their scholarly work that they, well, it's something, that they would have completed and published between the year 2021 and 2025. And the deadline for that application is going to be January 31st, 2026. As we celebrate 5 decades of knowledge, truth, and integrity, let us remain steadfast in our commitment to continuous improvement. Together, faculty and staff, we are shaping the future of University of the Bahamas, and by extension, the future of our beloved Bahama land. Thank you so, so much for your dedication, your passion, your unwavering commitment to our shared mission and vision. I wish all of you a very productive and inspiring semester and year. I look forward to our continued collaboration throughout the academic year. And as we go into our next session, I'd like to welcome to the stage Ms. Tamika McNair. She is an engineer, a purpose-driven person, a board member, a transformational leader, author, mentor, a founder, a visionary, a trailblazer, and like I like to say, the most important job, she's a mother. She holds an undergraduate degree in industrial engineering with a focus in human factors, a minor in African American studies, and a master's of business administration with a focus in leadership. In her current role as the human resource director in the Digital Employee Experience Organization, she leads the evolution of the HR customer engagement program and orchestrates innovative strategies to enhance stakeholder relationships. Simultaneously, as the executive director of the Microsoft Alumni Network, she drives initiatives that fosters meaningful connections and leverage alumni insights for organizational growth. Tamika is also a member of the October 2023 cohort of the 12-month Microsoft Leading the Future Leadership Experience, a Chief Vice President nominated elite program focused on developing future leaders. Prior to her current role, she has worked in various organizations at Microsoft, the sales service at the Azure GTM lead, legal focused on privacy operations, cloud artificial intelligence, security fundamentals, where she targeted events connected to security KPIs, and internal audit, where she was a senior IT auditor working on various audits, including Azure Key Vault, Azure Identity and Operations Services, and third-party developer. Transitioning through 5 different organizations within the Microsoft ecosystem has given her a breadth of experience, providing valuable insights and a well-rounded understanding of the organization. Her personal mission is to empower everyone that she encounters to become the best version of themselves and to discover their purpose, encouraging others to reach for the stars and to not stop until they get them all. Her unique style, personality, and commitment to walking in her authentic truth has played a major part in navigating her life career, inspired by experience, overcoming a wide range of obstacles. Tamika seeks to encourage others to pursue their dreams despite their various challenges they may face. She is a lifelong advocate of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and has established employee resource groups to push DEI initiatives. She is an active mentor to both adults and youth in underserved communities, and she is passionate about encouraging minorities to explore STEM careers. She's also the co-founder of the Women in Energy Conference. Within the last 5 years, Tamika has made 5 industry switches: education, manufacturing, energy, software, and retail, each leveraging her technical expertise and her desire to solve challenging problems. Tamika published her first book, Conquering Uncertainty, in 2022. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Tamika McNair, who will speak to us today on the topic, generative artificial intelligence. My sincere apologies. Ms. McNair, can you just take a seat on the stage? I am told that I am stopping all the giveaways and the prizes before. So, Dr. Hepburn and Lord Richard of Adderley, please come to the stage.
I'm back to normal. It's just plain Richard Adley now. We have a trivia question, and it's limited to staff, no faculty. Okay? And I need someone who can identify the first person who can stand. I can. But our Honorable Minister said that he graduated from a particular school, and at that ceremony, he first met a particular person. And so if you can give me the school that he graduated from and the individual who he met for the first time, you will win 2 VIP tickets to Fusion.
They raised their hand, but I'm at the mic. He would have said St. Augustine's College, and it would have been Cylinden.
Yes, okay. Yeah. Okay, so I want to take you back to the year 1977. That was the year I graduated from high school. Minister Mitchell was, let's see, he had a certain position, a job in 1977. What was that role? No, no faculty, just staff again. Come on, you should know this. No. Pardon me? I heard that. But you have to stand up. You have to stand up. Wendy, I hope you didn't. And your faculty or staff? I can't see. Okay, staff. Okay. So go to the mic and let's hear. Not you, Wendy. Oh.
I see Eddie coming now. Is that Eddie? No, Eddie's not.
Think back to 1977, before politics.
Somebody. Okay.
Okay, let's hear it. Oh. Nice.
You passed me so elegantly just now. So my answer would be sadness.
As?
You said, where did he work?
But I mean, for extra points, you could go on. Tell me what.
Oh,
what
for
did he
extra
do?
points.
Yeah.
So he was, see, at that time, I would say, what, a journalist reporter?
He was the news anchor. ZNS News.
And that's an up.
That's correct. That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, good. Oh, you win a $70 Pink Place gift certificate.
I thank you.
So now on with the show, and we have more prizes. Stay around. Faculty, no faculty, your time comes next. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you all so much. As my screen get up there, I am super, super honored to be here today. I appreciate the warm introduction that I had. I would like to definitely thank Aunt Donna Williams and Dean Moxie for inviting me. This is truly an honor. And ever since I stepped off the plane, I felt welcome. I almost feel like I'm at home. And so I greatly appreciate that. And to be here for such a beautiful moment of the university celebrating 50 years, that makes it that much more special. And when I think about, what the number 50 symbolizes, it symbolizes the Jubilee, which is a sign of freedom, restoration, abundance. And I think that that is so amazing when I think about some of the things that I would want to share with you all today. Interesting enough, Microsoft is actually getting ready to celebrate their 50th year anniversary. So I just find this really, really peculiar, the timing in which this opportunity has come about. And I'm just excited to be here. I want you all to know that my intent for this discussion is to inspire, to inform, and to activate. And with that, I'm going to be very transparent. And soon as we get up there, I'll start clicking through some of these slides that I have. But I'm going to talk about my journey along the way, because I think that is so important, especially when I think about the sentiments that I heard earlier today about the desire for the university and the future. I've already started. So, as I was saying, I am excited to be here. I know we heard a lot about kind of some of the accolades that I have been able to obtain, but I am a testament that God is real. I would not be in front of you today had it not been for the hand of God on my life. And so when you all open in prayer, I'm like, okay, another reminder that I am right at home. As they still work on getting the slides pulled up, I'll just transition into what the agenda will look like for today. I'm going to take some time and walk us through an introduction, and this is when I'll give some more about my story and my personal sentiments when it comes to education. Then I'll talk about Gen AI and what it means in regards to disruption and enablement. And then I'll pivot into talking about Microsoft's approach. How are they tackling this new era that we are at, the beginning of endless possibilities? Then I'll talk a little bit about some of the educational institutions, of how they're currently leveraging AI to realize their organization's goals. Thank you all for your patience. We did a dry run and it worked out fine. So, thank you. Just go from- yeah. Okay, so after I talk about AI adoption in the educational institutions, perfect, we're in business now. Thank you. Then I'll talk about how do you all get started today. And then I'll open up. I think someone is helping me keep track of time, just in case I have to go through some of these slides a little bit quicker, because I do want to make sure that I allow some time to answer any questions that you all may have. Okay, we'll get right into it. So, as you all heard my bio, there are two words that come to mind when I think about my journey, dynamic and robust, to say the least. There is purpose associated with that as my personal North Star and vision for my career is to become a CEO of a Fortune 50 company. That I have zero doubts will come to fruition. My life is an example that you can obtain your dreams despite how far-fetched they may seem. And with that, I have to start with why education is so important to me personally. Growing up in poverty in a single-parent household, my education was my key out. So I take education very, very serious. When I think about some of the doors that have opened for me, it has been because of the education that I have been able to obtain. In addition to that, I add the layer of me having my twin boys in the middle of engineering school. So I know what it feels like to have obstacles and challenges come your way in the midst of you going after your dreams, but I also know what it means to persevere through it. One of the sayings that my mom always said when we were growing up is, your education is something that no one can ever take from you. And I firmly believe that. Here recently, with one of my close friends, she's the founder of an organization called Women in Cloud. She shared with me that in her country, that they would use the tagline of education is the greatest line of defense for any country. She grew up in India. And when I think about where India was during the time that she was born and where they are now with the number of people from the country that has been able to obtain CEO roles in these large corporations, it made that quote come to life for me. So now, let me pivot a little bit and talk about, what I deem as the importance of educators, you all in this room. The work that you all do contribute to the lives of so many, and even though some may not come back and tell you, thank you, I want to make sure that I tell you that today. So educators, your role is to guide and facilitate learning experiences. You play a significant role in developing productive, well-rounded citizens that will make an impact in their communities and broadly to the world. You're preparing students for the real-world endeavors, equipping them to navigate through complex challenges. This is not an easy task, but I thank you for your sacrifice and being willing to pour in that type of way. You're equipping the students with the skills that they need for the future workplace. And as I dig a little bit deeper into this presentation, I'm going to do a double click there, as AI is the future of the workforce. And it is really important that we are equipping the students with the things that they need now to prepare them for those opportunities. Now pivot into Gen AI, this disruption and enablement portion. So technology in education has often been associated with disruption, right? Over the last 15, 20 years, we've seen what technology has done. We also know that with new technology, it also comes challenges that we have to think about, how do we work through. But this new wave of technology and AI that we have, it's really an opportunity for us to think about how do we reinvent ourselves in a new way and transformative way. Okay, so I wanted to go here immediately because I initially talked with Dean Moxie and Aunt Donna, and one of the key topics that came up was this concept of plagiarism. And what does that mean now when it comes to AI and the things that students have access to? If you look at this display that I have up here, what you'll see is that leaders, educators, and students all has some concerns around what plagiarism may mean, right? From a leader's perspective, They want to know, how does this impact the education that they are providing to, the university all up? As an educator, when you are giving students assignments, how are you ensuring that it is their intellectual property and they are not using AI to do the work for them? As a result, is that then hindering them having the opportunity to learn? And then, from the student perspective, they are worried with this new AI that's available. Will the professors think that I have plagiarized if I have leveraged these tools in some type of way? And this has been a topic that has come up often. And one of the places that we anchor back to is, how are we actually defining plagiarism? If someone leveraged their mentor or tutor to help them with a project, is that plagiarism? Will we deem that as that today? If not, right, do we be open-minded and think about how AI can potentially serve as a tutor for someone, which then could also open up the door for more students to consider going to college and potentially filling some of the educational gaps that may exist? So my main point here is that this is a concern that everybody involved, from faculty to the students, are thinking about. We have to be intentional about redesigning and talking about what does that mean, and then equipping everyone to leverage AI in a responsible way. Okay, so when we start thinking about AI and the intent, we are really looking at how can we use AI to support core mission of higher education? How do we empower faculty? How do we personalize engagement, accelerate discovery? And as I mentioned before, how do we ready the students for the workforce? We also look at, how does it enhance the things that make higher education great? How are we empowering the faculty to deliver world-class research with automation and AI? How are we blending traditional college experiences with modern expectations? How are we personalizing the learnings for the students to prepare them? And how are we achieving a reliable and trusted foundation that ensures intelligent defenses? Recently, in preparation for this opportunity, I read a book by a gentleman by the name of Sal Khan. And this gentleman, to give you a little context about him, if you all haven't heard of him before, he was a leader in the early days of tutoring. So he created a tutoring program back in about 20 years ago now. And the reason why he created the program initially was to support family members who were struggling when it came to them studying their math classes. They were struggling. And based on what he was able to do with helping them fill the gaps, he actually created a program where he provided tutoring for the broader masses. And because of the foundation that he had already laid, when we got to 2022 roughly, and this whole Gen AI era began, some of the leaders at these big corporations invited him to the table. And it was almost like they were using a test to see if they could take this foundation that he created around providing gaps being filled through his organization that he created. What happens if we try to use Gen AI to help him accelerate that so that he could actually meet the broader masses? And something magical happened. He created this app that across the US right now, it's been offered through K through 12th grade, but it's an app called CanMigo. And pretty much it is a personal assistant for the student. So that means that when you have students who may be having challenges in a certain area, instead of slowing down the pace in which he or she is talking about a subject, this tool is now able to help the student where they are. Pretty mind-blowing when you dig a little deeper and think about the things that he's doing. So the name of the book is Brave New Words. I would highly recommend everyone read that. But he talks about how it's important that while we're in this Gen AI era, that the universities and schools are developing AI strategies that tie to the broader objectives of the institution. Early research has shown that leveraging AI to act as a personalized tutor also acts as a coach and encourages learning and engagement rather than simply giving answers. It's very interactive. In addition, we know, and he brings this up multiple times in his book as well, around the plagiarism that I begin to talk to some. But it's really important for us to teach each body how to utilize the technology from a faculty perspective. How are you all using that to think about how you set priorities for the organization? As a professor, how are you potentially leveraging technology to create a lesson plan that may allow for you to simplify the information in a different type of way? This slide just talks to the overarching opportunities for AI within education. How can we accelerate the learning? How do we prepare the students for the future? By building AI literacy every chance that we can get. How are we improving efficiency? Last night, Aunt Donna and I were at dinner and we talked about this some. And I told her how, as in my role, I am required to use AI every single day. The CEO has put a mandate out there for each employee, and we have people that's been there a broad length of time. Some are new hires, some have been at the company 30, 40 years. And we know that change is hard, but they've put a mandate out for each one of us to go on this journey. So I am learning every single day. And even in preparation for this speaking opportunity, I leveraged AI to help me with creating a foundation for the slides that I would use today. So it freed me up from spending hours and hours to think about what is my starting point, and I leveraged our PowerPoint Copilot to help me do those types of things. Okay, so when I think about exploring the possibilities and what that means, here are some questions that I would want you all to consider. How can you use technology to eliminate barriers while preserving cultural integrity? What opportunities does it unlock in education? Educators often face tasks they'd rather avoid but must handle as a part of their role. If these tasks were automated, how would that impact their time, your time that you spend on focusing on the things that really matter, like the time that you have when you are actually engaging with your students face to face? Plagiarism is a shared concern, as I mentioned many a times, across faculty, professors, and students. While we should be cautious of the risks technology pose, it's vital not to overlook its potential benefits. How do you teach people how to use AI responsibly? This is also really, really important to me. So, one of my sons experienced a stroke at 6 weeks old. He is a testament that miracles do happen. But because of what he went through, my son has had an IEP, and I believe in the Bahamas you all have something similar under your special services unit under the Ministry of Education. But I think about the future for him, right? His IEP was put in place to help him in those areas where he needed a little bit more time than others. So when I think about my son going off to college next August, it's very important for me that he has the additional support that he needs to ensure that he's able to be successful despite the challenges that he may have to overcome with the rigor that comes along with the college experience. So when I think about AI, for me, this is an opportunity for him to use this technology to help him realize his dreams and his goals, and to not have limitations placed on him due to circumstances that none of us had control over. Okay, now I'll pivot and talk a little bit more about Microsoft's approach and how we're thinking about AI. And I'll have to start with the CEO's comment. He said, for the first time, we have the access to AI that is as empowering as it is powerful. So we are not negating the fact that with AI, we have to be very, very mindful about how are we building this to ensure that we are keeping people's personal data protected, that there is integrity that exists. Microsoft's mission statement, which is also part of the reason that I chose this organization to work for, as it closely aligned to my own personal mission statement that was mentioned. Microsoft is set to empower every person in every organization on the planet to achieve more. And that means that as we are building out our technology, we have to make sure that we stay anchored to the mission that we have set out. In AI and the things that we're doing with Copilot is a reflection of that. All right, so I talked earlier about how important it is to prepare our students, the world, honestly, for the future. 82% of business leaders say employees will need new skills to prepare them for AI. That means that if we are not preparing students earlier on, we are leaving the door open for potential gaps for students to experience. Our goal is to make sure that students, when they leave educational institutions, have a pathway to careers that then allow for them to be productive and give back to their country and their communities that they live in. We have to make sure that they prepared the appropriate way to use these skills. This slide talks to, again, the totality of how Microsoft is thinking about enabling equitable education for all. How are we creating these tools to help accelerate learning, prepare the students for the future, improve efficiency all the way around the board, and simplify and secure the technology that we have in place, not just for our organization, but for our companies that are using our products. Okay, these are opportunities to empower everyone with AI, creating personalized tutoring and engagement, very similar to what I talked to you about with SalCan. Leverage advanced analytics so that you can have the right information at the right time at your fingertips to make important decisions. How do we accelerate research discovery? I know I heard earlier about how research is really important for this university. So how do you use AI to help in that context? Create next generation assessments. With this new AI that's here, it's going to cause us to rethink about how are we assessing students? What does learning mean with this new era that we're at? How are we providing teaching assistant? As I mentioned about my son who will be going off to college, right? I want to make sure that he has the right tools at his fingertips that can help him be successful. How do we protect at the speed of AI? We know that AI is going so fast that everybody is trying to keep up with it, including us. How do we boost productivity, expedite workflows and operations, and enhance support services? This slide right here is the meat of what we often talk about at Microsoft, because we understand that we have a great responsibility to make sure that we are building AI tools in a responsible way. So when we're putting the foundation together, what we are doing it from is an angle of fairness, reliability and safety, privacy and security, inclusiveness, transparency, and accountability. This slide just does a double click of what does this responsible AI in action look like. I talked about the principles. When we're thinking about the policies and everything that we're putting in place, we're making sure that we have corporate standards and goals and requirements and practices that ensure that we hold ourselves accountable. We're looking at implementation and making sure that we are putting the appropriate training out, that we are putting these tools and doing the proper testing that we need, and then making sure that we have oversight and monitoring, reporting, auditing, compliance, all of those things that will be important as we continue to build on those products. Enabling your AI transformation journey. As I mentioned before, I am required to leverage the AI tools that are being brought to life every single day. Prior to us having Copilot available, we were encouraged to start trying ChatGPT, which was really the first opening invitation to the world, right? And that was scary, even for myself, on how do I use this? How do I know where my personal information is going? How do I know where the information is going if I put something in there pertaining to personal sensitive information about the company? And Microsoft has done a great job of providing the training that the employees need at a rapid pace to ensure that we understand how we even have a responsibility to use these AI tools responsibly. With the change and how quickly it's going, we understand even more so the importance of ensuring that we have cybersecurity and education as we can continue to grow. One of the things that I did before coming here, kind of looked at the site, and I was actually looking for your engineering department that had cybersecurity in it. And I could not find it. And Andana and I talked last night. I was so shocked, honestly. And I said, Andana, do you all not have a computer science program or cybersecurity? And she's like, yes, we just have it under the business department. And I said to her, I would have never thought in a million years that that's where it was placed at, right? Because when I think about what corporations like Microsoft and other IT companies and those types of things, when they are thinking about investing into organizations, having those types of programs that stand out is really important, right? Because we understand that we should be equipping the future with the skills, the knowledge, the curriculum that they need that will make them ready to compete with some of the other institutions that exist. So this cybersecurity, it is not going anywhere. And in my opinion, I believe that there is even a higher emphasis on the necessity for it. And so I would love, even post this opportunity, to talk more and figure out how do I leverage my access that I have at Microsoft to help build out curriculum and those types of things to help. Okay, I'm keeping track of time up here. I'm gonna run through this part really, really quickly. I'm just gonna give a couple examples of what we've seen so far in regards to impact across universities that are leveraging some of Microsoft tools like Copilot. They're able to analyze data efficiently. People are using it to automate repetitive tasks that they have. They are unlocking productivity. We all wish we had more time in the day. How do we leverage AI to help us do that? So there's organizations that are currently working on that. How do we spark innovation? How are we personalizing the learning? How do we build AI literacy? How are we equipping the students? How do we develop innovative curriculum? Unleashing the potential across campus in every role, looking at it from the student perspective with personalizing the learning. How do we improve productivity and amplify impact for the faculty, for research? How are we enhancing the search and the insights that you're getting from the information? How are we unifying the data across the different sources to enhance the student lifecycle management for the admins and for the IT staff? How are we improving security posture with AI and security automation? Here's a case study from the University of Broward College, where they used AI to help them accelerate with their learning. What they used was Azure Machine Learning and Responsible AI to identify 5 key predictors of students' attrition, leading to data-driven actionable strategies to help the university students transform their lives and reach their goals. As a benefit, through more focused interventions, faculty and staff can help more students achieve their dreams, generating long-term educational, social, economic impacts for the community. Here's another case study, and I'll go through this one really fast, where the Athens University used this in their economics and business area to prepare the students for the future. So they used it to help them build out curriculum that will then position their students to obtain opportunities at these tech companies when they leave the institution. This is a third one. St. Leo University also used the technology in place to help them with preparing their students for the future as well. Okay, so getting started, because remember I said my goal was to inspire, inform, and activate. We have tools that are available right now for free that you all can use to help you get comfortable with technology that is changing at a rapid pace. I was going to do a demo, but I realized that I didn't have too much time. However, at the end of this discussion, I will make sure that I share a list of resources, and I'll skip to those slides for a second, that will give you all a ton of information that you can then go take and utilize and try it out. So this first slide is a Microsoft Educational AI Toolkit. There's a ton of information that you can dig deeper into. There are also communities that you all can join of other universities and educators to stay informed of what's transpiring. I'll also share this slide with you. This has a little bit more information in that link. And then I'll give you some additional training resources that you can take and utilize. So I say all that to say, I will make sure that make sure that you all have as much information as you possibly need to continue on this journey. I am happy to help in any way that I can. If there's areas that you all want to do a double click on from a technology standpoint, I will make sure that I am leveraging the insights that I have to connect you all to the right people. And I am happy to answer any questions that you all may have. Thank you.
Okay.
We have a question? Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now we can.
Okay. So thank you so much for your talk. And there will be tools and resources afterwards. I just wondered if from this audience can, in your explanation, explain what Copilot is?
Yes.
And the functionality that it provides. And then
Okay.
number two, in a kind of broad strokes sentiment, let's say I'm an admin assist, I have different functions. How is AI going to help me in my everyday? What are some of the functionalities that I can get in my job today?
Perfect.
A broad kind of explanation.
Okay, I will, and while I'm doing that, because I had initially set up to do a demo, and I had changed my mind because I'm like, how much time do I have? So we're gonna do this real time. So I'm gonna get plugged back up, and in short summary, when I say Copilot, essentially, we are deeming Copilot as your, we often phrase it as like your assistant or your co-pilot, right? Which means that we are, okay, let's see. I may need some help presenting again. Let's see. So we know that when it comes to having an assistant, we need someone that is actually supporting. So our goal is to not take away the human part of it, but to provide an assistant that can help guide you, minimize some of the mundane tasks and those types of things that you would not want to do. Now, what I am trying to show whenever my screen comes back up is our actual Copilot interface within our web browser. I'm not sure if someone from tech can help me share my screen again. And so what I'm going to do whenever I can show my screen, I'm going to go into the web interface, which I mentioned in those slides very quickly at the end, that is free to anyone right now. Only thing that you need to have is the Microsoft Bing browser opened up. And what I'm going to do is, I am going to go into the prompt engine, and I'm going to put a prompt in there. As a business admin, you can come on up. I'm just talking as I begin to type this prompt in. Okay, it should be almost in business. We didn't test for this portion of it, so thank you for being patient. Okay. Yes, I just have the internet. Okay, we're going to improvise here just so I can do a quick demo. But what I was going to do is type into the prompt engine on our right through the web, and I was going to ask for Copilot to help us create a daily schedule from that administrator would need to think about. And what the tool is going to do when I do that is going to quickly generate a whole schedule for you that you then could take and modify to fit whatever it is you need. And I am happy to help you or show you that even offline, since we're having some challenges with getting my screen to show. Any other questions for me? Yes, okay.
someone from Microsoft about the way that they envision that AI can be a part of education. And I can see how businesses want to leverage their employee time, because time equals money in business. But the difference, and the thing that I would want more specifics about, is the practicalities of using this in education. Because when we think about what AI does and the known problems that are associated with it, for example, you talked a lot about integrity and plagiarism. And we all know that when ChatGPT and all of these AI generators are scanning the internet, right? And they are, what's the word? Mining the data and giving us the data without citation and without reference, which all of us in the university care very much about this because we care that our students are learning and producing and understanding their sources as either reputable or not reputable. And so there's a big disconnect. Like, yes, it's very easy to ask AI to write you a company letter that says, thank you for your assistance, but we don't want your help, right? It's easy to use AI to compile an itinerary for a trip. But when we're thinking about integrity and critical thinking, this is fairly general here. And so thinking about this in a more complicated and specific way is really necessary, not just for the university, but if AI is the way of the future, it's necessary for that too. We have, in the past year and a half, just jumped into AI is amazing without really thinking about these complexities and what it does to student learning. If AI is making incorrect, if they're writing a paper for students, which we know it does, incorrectly, right? When do our students learn what's correct, right? They gotta learn what's correct first. And so, my question is, where does that fall in this kind of educational platform that you're thinking of? Thank you.
That's a very good question, and thank you so much. Yeah, so I briefly stated that there are several communities that Microsoft has created where they are bringing faculty, professors together to have robust conversations around specifically what you just addressed. We also, when we talk about Copilot, as I mentioned, we truly reference it as using it as an assistant. And we have a robust list of tools and that can be leveraged to help with how do you help people create prompts so that you actually get the right information that you're looking for. And I had talked before about creating this AI strategy that organizations will have to do in order to make sure that we are training faculty, students, professors on how to use the AI. So AI, the more information that you give it, the better the results you'll get back. So for example, with what you gave about a student leveraging it to create an essay, right? And they have no information where the source came from, etc. If they prompted the information, the tool before getting the response back, it will actually sort sources for you as well. And hopefully I can get up here, but even with the sources cited, right? It may mean that you have to think differently about how we are training the students within the class, right? If we know that they're using AI, maybe part of it is we, as a homework assignment, allow for them to use it then, and then we actually assess in the classroom when they can't use it to see if that learning has transpired. So I understand and hear your sentiments, and like I said, I know that there's several others that share those, and I'm happy to share the communities where you all can join and dig a little bit deeper, as I don't sit in the industry education sector of Microsoft. However, I know that we have a robust set of support that we're trying to create to address those types of concerns. Does that help? No? No. Okay. Yeah. And like I said, I am happy to dig deeper, and I don't have any other specifics that I can give you at this moment, so I'm not going to try to make anything up. But I am happy to, like I said, point you all to the right people and information. Yes. Well, I have a hand down here, and there's a couple of people.
Yeah, we have enough time for 2 questions here.
Okay,
and
we
a
have
final
one
one
down
down
here.
here,
Yes.
and then we'll take our first break.
First, I want to tell a very brief story. I had a student last semester was so excited because she wrote an original composition.
Mm-hmm.
And the minute she started to play, it was something from the 1800s. Exactly the same. Students are not thinking. You're talking about having the critical mind to ask the right questions. A lot of them, they're here because they need that guidance to get the mindset to think critically. Giving them AI is only creating a lazy individual, in my opinion. Area of creative arts. I've been looking at the development of new AI products. I can talk a song and say in the style of Stevie Wonder, and it'll take my spoken words and turn it into singing words and make it sound like Stevie Wonder. What is that student learning by talking and saying Elton John, Mariah Carey? How are we solving the problem of dumbing down society with introducing AI in universities and schools? I could understand if people are mentally challenged and they need that assistance. But for people who are born with the same brain that our parents and our grandparents were born with, we're just creating another set of lazy people in our world. And we see it all around us. And there's no sugarcoating this. I mean, you had to call for a technician to solve your problem. You couldn't say, AI, hook me up.
On that part, the infrastructure isn't set to do that here. But no, I totally hear your sentiments, right? And the things that you all are saying, they have some validity to it. What I am challenging, right, if we think about the angle of preparing the students for the future of work, we have to figure out what is that healthy balance, right? You all have to decide what does that mean for your university in regards to how AI is used. If you decide to not let the students use AI in your organization, you all are empowered to do that. But are we preparing them for the future then, right? Because as I mentioned, I am required to use AI every day in a different way as well. So I think that will, like I said, require you all to really think about what does that mean for you. If the goal, one of the goals is to prepare them for the future, AI is a part of that. And so creating strategies and figuring out what that means, I believe is really, really important.
Hello?
Yes.
Just to give you a bit of a perspective, I've been using artificial intelligence in a few of my classes for about the last 3 years. Just to kind of give you an idea of how I use it, I'll give you a little example, and you can probably judge. I teach our cybersecurity course, CISP 420, and in this course, the main thing that we want students to understand about security is that security is not good or bad. It has nothing to do about being illegal or illegal. What it has to do is thinking out of the box, looking at the rules, the policies, the procedures, and then finding ways around those rules that do not break the spirit of those rules. Now, the second week of my class, I give them a simple assignment, but it's one that is impossible for them to finish. I give them 3 days to write a 2,000-word essay on the history of the Bahamas. 3 days. I give an outline of rules. The rules would be, number one, whatever they hand in must pass a standard plagiarism test. Number two, it should be in complete sentences. And then I give it to them. It is impossible for them, if they follow the rules, in order to complete it. The only way that they can complete it is by using AI. But now, the thing though, is that whatever they do in AI, they have to figure out how AI can actually beat a plagiarism test. I know that we've seen seminars, we've had seminars that said that there are certain ways that they can actually detect AI when it's written. I'm telling you here, it doesn't work. Now, I don't know if Copilot does it. ChatGPT, Anthropic, and other engines, all the student has to do is upload a sample of their writing. Then they can tell it to write an essay in the spirit of whatever their style of writing, and it will pass 100% of the time. Now, so I put that in place so that the students understand that I know about AI. Another way that I use AI in my classes is that we all have issues, especially when we have our test banks, where the test banks are available online. And that's a big issue. Well, what you can do is that you can take your notes, your PowerPoint presentations, or even if you have whatever text you're using, if it's in text form or PDF form, you can upload that, and then you can ask it to actually generate questions for you. Not only multiple choice questions, but also short answers and essays. And you can specifically say that make this unique, that is not found in any test bank. And it will do that. And for those that use Moodle, you can easily take that and convert it where that automatically can be uploaded in Moodle.
Thank you so much for sharing that example.
I'm going to piggyback before you even get started, because I think me and him may be the pro AI users. I utilize it in my classroom as well, and I think it's beneficial. We have to evolve. I think that was Mr. Jasilian came and said, we don't want lazy students, so we can't be lazy educators. The reality is AI is here to stay. Whether we like it or not, students are going to utilize it. We have to find creative ways to utilize it in our classrooms, in our thinking, and because like he said, the plagiarism detectors, you could try that with as many things as possible, and you won't come back that it's fully plagiarized in most instances, unless they cheat and don't want to buy the expensive ones. I use the expensive ones, and you cannot tell. You can upload almost anything. So I think what would be beneficial for all of us here, faculty and staff, is to find or maybe have seminars of creative ways of how we can build AI into our teaching for strategies? How do we facilitate it for the use of students? I have my own ways. He has his own ways that we do it. But what will be beneficial for all of us is not just hearing about AI because we know it's there, but how can we constructively utilize it in our everyday way of life? That's where the benefit of this would come from with faculty development.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the two examples. You all articulated, right, the use of it from the education sector, and I really appreciate that. And it is true, right? I think that each one of us has a responsibility to use it and see what is possible with it, and that better equips us on how do we then engage with our students when we're teaching them how we want them to use it in a responsible way. So thank you. And I think